Okay, here is a recipe that is very big in flavor. There's not much ingredients to this, and there is even a very unlikely ingredients that you probably would not imagine me using to go with this shrimp. This is my homemade pickles. Okay, this is one of my ingredients. For seasoning, salt and pepper. And we are going to use coconut cream, and this is 14 ounces of coconut cream, jalapeno, 2 jalapenos, and 2 cloves of garlic, and that's it. This is the most simple recipe I ever made for my husband, and everybody who shared it with us oftentimes would request for this coconut shrimp. So let me show you how I make. When you buy shrimp, please avoid buying those that are turning pink. It should have a greenish tint to it. It should be nice and shiny and firm to the touch. I always avoid those shrimps that are turning pink. Okay? This should be the color, and I could see that it's very true to the camera, the color of it. So let me get started with the procedure. Okay, should have turned that heat on. I have a 1/4 cup of water on a standby just in case I need it. Okay, the first thing I do is put the coconut cream here. And by the way it looks, I might not even need that water, as there's enough liquid in here to get this thing going. But just put all of the coconut cream in there, and I'm just going to let that come to a very low simmer, and then I'm gonna add this garlic and season it with salt and pepper, and then cover it until the garlic is nice and tender. Then okay, add your chopped garlic in there. I have I had turned it up because the heat was going a little too fast for me. But you want to simmer the coconut milk or cream on low heat, okay? And you have to stir it as often as you can, that way. Okay, you will notice that the oil is starting to surface, and you want to keep on simmering this until it's almost reduced halfway before you put the shrimp in. Okay, and the garlic is starting to get very aromatic in there. So now I'm going to add some salt. I would say half a teaspoon of salt to start with. You could always add, but you can't take out. I'm going to cut the pickles into spear, and see, growing up, this was usually cooked with a type of fruit that is very native to the Philippines, and it's called, if I remember well, I'm not very sure if that's the name of it, but I think it's called kamyas. And it's a very sour fruit, and the texture when you bite into it reminds me so much of these pickles. This pickle, as you, and And so because we don't have that naturally available here, I realized that I could use my homemade pickles, because it will have that acidity from the vinegar that will cut through the richness of the coconut sauce, and at the same time you have the texture of crisp pickles to go with the savory flavor of the coconut and the chewy texture of the shrimp. So right now we have the coconut cream in there, simmering nice and low with the garlic. In a little while I'm going to stir it, add some salt and pepper, and let it simmer again. The trick to this is that to make sure that the sauce, the coconut sauce, is well seasoned, so that when you put the shrimp in there, which will take a very short time to cook, it will tighten up and at the same time absorb all of that coconut cream and the seasoning, and it will really flavor the shrimp. Okay, so here's our coconut sauce with the pickle and jalapeno. And I have to mention that since this is dill pickle, we will have the flavor of dill in it and some pickling spice, and naturally the vinegar and the salt, which helps season the coconut sauce. And the the jalapeno give it that nice spicy flavor, but not hot, because as you can see, I leave it whole. If you want it hot, you can cut it into a half, take the seed out. Or if you want it mildly spicy, like I have mine here, I just leave it whole. Now as you can see, the sauce is nice and thick, very creamy, and I would say very close to 50% reduced. The reduction is very important. You want to intensify and concentrate the flavor of the spice from the pickles and jalapeno, and at the same time make sure that the coconut cream is cooked. So now I am going to add the shrimp. I have large shrimp here, 1 pound, and make sure that your shrimp is fresh, so that you could really enjoy this recipe. Now, as simple as this recipe is, a lot of my acquaintances and my family just really love it. And I encourage you to try this recipe and judge for yourself. I believe you will not be disappointed. And so now I have the shrimp in here. We are going to cover it, bring it to a boil, and that should not take too long because the shrimp cooks fast and we don't. Okay, here's our shrimp. They all turned pink, and this one is slightly grayish in tone, so I'm gonna give it about 30 seconds more to just continue the cooking, and then I'm gonna turn it off. The residual heat from the pot and the stove will keep on cooking the shrimp. So, and as you can see, it's not very saucy. Our coconut sauce is reduced, and the flavor is really concentrated. Let's see how the seasoning is. Wow, yes, that is so good. A slight sprinkle of salt will make it perfect. And We'll turn off the heat and leave it there until it's time to serve.